Good evening, everyone. The Sacramento City Council will come to order. Would the city clerk designee please call the roll to establish a quorum?
Thank you. Councilmember Ashby? Here. Councilmember Hanson? Here. Councilmember Harris? Here. Councilmember Jennings? Come back to him. Councilmember Guerra? Here. Councilmember Chenier? Councilmember Warren?
I see him.
Councilmember Jennings is in the building. And Mayor Steinberg.
Here.
And for the record, Councilmember Carr will be absent this evening.
Be out this evening. Thank you so much. We are going to get to the appointment of our new city clerk in just a moment, but let us begin by asking the young adults from the summer at City Hall to please rise and to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, they're all come on up. We'll do this officially. Sir.
I pledge of allegiance of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. We got it out there. It was like harmony, you know, we all different things. Okay, does the city attorney have a report out from closed session?
Mayor, we have nothing to report out of closed session.
Okay, without objection, before we take the public comment, we want to officially appoint our city clerk here. Otherwise, she's just sitting up here as a guest of the city council. But the city council engaged in an exhaustive search to replace Shirley Concolino as our city clerk. And let me just say that there were a number of great candidates, including internal candidates who remain and whose leadership and service I know I appreciate and we appreciate very, very much. We chose a great person to be the next city clerk, Mindy Cuppy, who comes to us from neighboring Rancho Cordova and who has many years of experience as a city clerk in this most sensitive position. A lot of you may not know what a city clerk does, but it is one of the 5 charter officers for the city of Sacramento. And the clerk has a number of important responsibilities, including overseeing citywide elections, the qualifications of candidates, putting together the agenda for the city council meetings, and really sort of being the glue, if you will, for much of what we do up here and day to day to serve the people of the city of Sacramento. And so we welcome you. And we know you will be with us. We hope you will be with us for a long, long time. And it does take a formal action to essentially validate the decisions that we made appropriately in closed session. And I would take a motion to appoint a new city clerk.
Item number 15. Second.
Move second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Everybody's part of the seconding here. Mr. Sanchez?
Mr. Mayor, just for the record, there was a correction made to read into the record. The salary was $160,527.91, $160,527.91. That's a change from what was originally published at $160,000.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Always transparent here at the city. And so we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstain. Congratulations, Madam Clerk. Well, and welcome. Would you like to say something?
Of course. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor. I'll be short and brief and to the point. It's my absolute pleasure to serve our community beside all of you. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. We welcome you as part of the city team. So now we move to public comment on items not on the agenda. And let's hear from those who have signed up to testify on items not on the agenda.
Thank you. I have 6 speaker slips. The first is Michael Voy. Following Mr. Voy is Eric Frame, and then Hillary for prison.
Well, no, by the way, there are 4 charter officers, not 5. So, hey,
I made a note to tell you
I'm still the new mayor here, so learning. Welcome.
Not essential, but I've got an issue there. Yeah. Just to show you where I'm reading from, I'll read a couple of excerpts from part of this in the testimony. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Back in November, when the council was formulating its cannabis regulations, it was, as I recall, announced that there were as many as an estimate of as many as 400 illegal marijuana or cannabis growing sites. Now we're up to 1,000, about 9 months later. Now, I understand that we're trying to legitimize and legalize something that, from my personal point of view, and only as an opinion, breeds nothing but misery. Anywhere you find cannabis, if you look very far, you will find misery. But I think there have been some unintended consequences of this, because last week, when we had this housing crisis, we had people testifying as to their rents increasing 20, 30%. And then we find out that we have this tight housing. And then we find out that there are an estimate of as many as 1,000 houses that have been converted to illegal cannabis grows. I have to take issue with that. And I don't know where the 1,000 estimate came from or how it was put together, but it's from the city and the city's officials. Okay. Now, I see
You have
that
just
I'm
a
out
few
of
more
time, but
seconds.
you get the gist.
We do. Thank you very much. We know this is a very important issue and intend to bring it publicly before the Law and Ledge Committee and the council often. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Eric Frame.
Put this on the big screen. Oh, there it is. That's a book for everyone in the audience if they wish to read it. So, the FBI calls Sacramento a hub of child trafficking. KCRA 3 reports Sacramento to be the second worst child trafficking city in the USA. I went to the final budget hearing on June 13th. The district attorney's presentation, I saw it. She dedicated less than $100,000 to the investigation of child trafficking and human trafficking. If we are the hub of child and human trafficking, why does the DA dedicate less than $100,000 to its investigation? I spoke to a cop friend of mine. He says the city itself only has 2 people investigating the child trafficking. If we are the hub of child trafficking, why does the city only have 2 people investigating child trafficking? This book may have some insight into that if anyone's interested, especially the youth. Got to read up. The truth is out there, especially in books. Probably not any of them in the library, but you can ask me if you want. So what are our cops doing while we're the hub of child trafficking? Oh, I remember. We're putting forth, maintaining the inhumane and unconstitutional no camping ordinance. Mr. Mayor, you've said it's inhumane many times. I don't know why it's not inhumane now. But maybe we could repeal the unconstitutional and inhumane no camping ordinance and put some of the cops on the child trafficking, since we're the hub of child trafficking.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your testimony, as always.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker is Hillary Forprison. Following Ms. Forprison is Robert Coplin. Following Robert Coplin is Wendell Nash.
Okay.
Robert Coplin.
Well, first of all, I got to say our new city clerk, she's going to have a tough time to fill Shirley Consigliano's shoes. And to get to my point, real point, I'm one of the greatest city council. You all get an F. Public transit, terrible. Housing crisis in Sacramento. Lack of jobs. Some just have a food desert. Some have a high crime rate. Can I go on and on and on? We got a high homeless issue. And then what Eric Frame said about child trafficking, one of the worst in the nation, I find all these unacceptable. What are you going to do about it? Come up with a plan to improve Sacramento for everybody and make it a real world-class city. A world-class city is not the Golden One Center or the expansion of this convention center. You're failing us. And if you keep on failing us like you are, I'd like to see some people get recalled. And I'm talking to every one of you. Thank you.
My next speaker is Wendell Nash. Following Mr. Nash is Mac Worthy.
Is Wendell Nash here? Yes, I am. I'm sorry. Of course. Of course, nice to see you. Take your time.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and your members. Ms. Steinberg, I met you about a little over 2 months ago, yourself and Mr. Scott White, and I explained my plight in detail. I'm from Los Angeles, and I was illegally evicted. I've been homeless for 2 years. I was illegally evicted from a transitional living, and the founder of that transitional living, I went to the Board of Supervisors to complain. They spoke with him, and from that point on, I've been blackballed. And I'm eligible for Proposition 63, which is now known as Mental Health Service Act. And then we have the Mental Health Service Act housing program. And I've been misled. I went to the housing voucher, and I talked with a lady. I've spoke with several people so far, and I've been misled in regards to Proposition 63, which is your baby, you co-founded, and I don't understand. Like I said, I've been here, and I've been misled, and I don't know, I'm homeless. Like I said, I'm homeless for like 2 years. I've been getting bit by bed bugs. I just got rid of fleas not too long ago, and I'm fed up. I'm mentally unstable at this point. I'm paranoid schizo or schizoaffective, and I'm depressed. I can't get into any of my art. I'm an artist, and those are the things that relieve my depression. Being into my art, my writing, and I'm miffed. I'm losing it. I'm actually losing it, and I'm thinking about clocking out. You know what I mean? Like suicide.
No.
This is crazy.
Okay, I know we have met a couple of times, and I know we've talked some about your plight, and I'm glad you came to the council here, and we always try to help anybody who comes up and asks for help. And so let us tonight try to re-engage with you and understand exactly your situation and see what we can do to try to help you. I'm happy to do it. Who's in the audience tonight? Sergeant Gellia. No, who's this? No. Officer Boyd of the impact team. There's Officer Boyd of the impact team. If you'd go back just outside the door there and meet with him, and then I'm going to ask Officer Boyd if you can report to not only Mr. Chan but back to my office here so that we know what's happened and we can follow up together. Please. Okay?
Okay, sure, I greatly
Don't give up.
appreciate-
Don't
Thank
give
you.
up.
No, I won't, I won't.
Okay?
But I'm at the verge.
If you want help, we'll do our very best to try to find you the help, okay?
Okay,
Okay, now
fine.
let's get started, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Our next speaker is Mac Worthy, and then Hillary Forprison.
This is the second week that I put this up, that this car been parked in front of my house for now almost a month, and my daughter ran it on the internet from her job. But we don't know what's the problem, but there is a problem. Maybe because it's in front of my house, but that doesn't matter. The car needs to be moved. Now, I didn't get a chance to talk to Mr. Hahn. I recommended Mr. Hahn for chief of police at least 4 years ago before he went to Roseville, and I was lied to. They never contacted him. I don't want to see his reputation tainted here because this boat is already capsized, and that's the problem, not the brass. Now, Miss Kimmons went with car twice about that boy on the sidewalk. Somebody want to talk to me, and I need to get with him and the FP agent when the person talk to me and use some measurements and show where that body was moved from. Now, car should have some information on it because Miss Kimmons met with him twice. But we want to try to educate the public. If you got a problem with the police department, you don't come to the city council, mayor, or city manager. You go to the DA. That's where you go. This number garbage here. You go to the DA, and you start at the DA, and we want the people to understand that. Also, we want the people to know, black women, I keep telling you, come to me. When you go tell me your baby at third grade level is accused to be a gang member, come to me. We'll go to the DA and sue whoever is going to that school district getting that information because he's behind in reading. Get started, people. Stick with the police department, and this is what I want to see Mr. Hahn do. Stick with his brass because help is coming, and they're going to be coming from Donald Trump right here, and I'll be standing up telling you the same thing I told you 2 years ago. We're going to drain the swamp one way or the other.
One more speaker?
Hillary Forprison. Did Hillary return?
Hillary did not return. Okay. So that is the end. Those are the speakers signed up for public comments, not for items not on the agenda. We now move to our presentation this evening, and I'd like to turn it over to Councilmember Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a rare opportunity to honor one of our longtime public servants. It seems like we're doing this more often than we had expected, but I, as well as 3 other council members, Mr. Harris, Mr. Guerra, and Mr. Carr, all have the pleasure of serving on behalf of the city on the Air Quality Management District Board. And for 13 of the last years, Larry Green has been its very able leader. Before that, he worked for 9 years at the Yolo Solano Air District, and before that, he was a lieutenant colonel in the armed forces. And what makes Larry very unique, in addition to fighting for clean air, advocating for public health, he has the discipline to work with everyone and to constantly stay focused on moving agendas forward on behalf of the people of Sacramento, the county, and all its cities. And as he retires, we not only want to wish him well, he has a scroll of accomplishments that I probably won't go through here today, but many of us who serve on the board were last week at the groundmaking event with you, Mr. Mayor, for the Sac Republic Stadium. And we want to honor Larry here today because of his service and commitment to the people of Sacramento. And just a few of the things that have happened lately, the Our Car Share program that's over at Marina Vista Alder Grove, as well as some other public housing sites. He and his staff helped bring that to Sacramento through a grant and with a lot of other able partners. We are well aware of the Electrify America Green City designation, and Larry and his staff were able partners in helping to make that $44 million come to Sacramento, as well as electric school buses and so many other wonderful things. So I know Larry's sitting there, but Larry, why don't you come down and let's embarrass you just for a few minutes, and then we'll take a picture and return you into the wild of the city of Davis.
Funny.
Soon to be woodland.
He is being ably replaced. It's not a total loss. We have a wonderful new air pollution control officer, executive director, and Alberto Ayala, and he's already stepped up very dramatically, and will carry on Larry's legacy.
Well, I appreciate this, and it's been my honor to serve with this city council and for the other cities in the county. We have a great area here. You've seen the successes we've had recently, and there's going to be more coming. Very proud to do this, and like I said, it's an honor to do this, a privilege for me. I thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Councilmember Harris.
Thank you, Mayor. Larry, it's really been a pleasure to serve with you. We took a trip down to Yosemite together. It was really wonderful to have that time to get to know you better, but also to understand some of the things you've achieved. It's a simple statement, but I think it's a true statement that you've made the air here easier to breathe and easier to see through. You've achieved a lot, and we really laud your efforts, and quite frankly, I'm going to miss you a lot.
Thank you. Councilmember Guerra.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Larry, enough hasn't been said about you, for your commitment to air quality and also your commitment to disadvantaged communities and the impacts that many of those communities have received. And I think, from coming from District 6 and the mayor also from District 6 as well at that time, one thing that's interesting that I learned about Larry is that one of the ways he ended up in Sacramento was serving at the Army Depot.
That's what I'm
And during the closure, what I found so important and why I think you've been able to change so much is your commitment to your team and your staff. And during the base closures, the fact that you were able to get just about everyone, I think as you only said like 5 or so people, a job afterwards and helped them transition after the base closure, because that was a huge impact to Sacramento. It's a huge impact to the community around the depot area. And that level of commitment to your staff, I think, is definitely the leadership that you brought to make Sacramento's air quality of what it is today. So thank you very much for that service, Larry.
Councilman Guerra, thank you for mentioning that chapter, because that was sort of going to be my comment. I met Larry back probably in 92, 93 when I was the council member in the 6th District, and it was around the Army Depot closure, and that was a big deal, and that had to be handled very skillfully by the people on site. And when I think about the excellent work you did in that chapter, and then how you went on, I don't know, it was another career, but to just a very, very different assignment. What a versatile professional and asset you have been to the community of Sacramento, and the years go by fast.
They do.
But you're still a young man. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate that long history, because we haven't worked together as much in recent years, and you're leaving just as I'm sort of starting here, but you've done this for a long, long time in different capacities, and you deserve every accolade you get. So thank you, Larry.
Larry, why don't you come down, we'll do a photo.
Very good. Just give him a hand. Come on, everybody.
Want me to take one with your phone? Yeah. Okay, to do it. Get to sit in this chair. Have a seat.
looks like a photobomb.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. This one's yours, right? Yeah, thank you very much. I try and be prompt.
Okay, thank you very, very much. We now have what I think will be a couple of relatively non-controversial items. If that's not the case, I'd like to sort of know that now. But we have the consent calendar before the items. I apologize again. Let's do the consent calendar. Is there public people signed up to testify?
I have two speaker slips for consent calendar, and I have some items to read into the record.
Why don't you read those into the record, please? Thank you.
Item number 6, which is the agreement for integrated pest management services, will be withdrawn and not voted on. And on item 11, there is a change that needs to be read into the record. The name of the firm being awarded the contract for the North Sacramento water meter retrofit project should be Tigert Waterworks Services. And the resolution and recommendation should be amended with the correct firm name and throughout the documents. My speakers are Robert Copland. Following Mr. Copland is Mackworthy.
Please let us know which item you are speaking to.
Number 3, arrest powers for public works. Staff, what are you people thinking? Are they properly trained to arrest people? I don't get it. Sacramento City Council shows up as they don't know what they're doing.
Finish your testimony, please.
Why Public Works get arrest authority, if that's what I'm reading correctly? Are they properly trained? And another issue is, why is, you can only speak, 2 minutes on all the items on this agenda? On the consent calendar, why only 2 minutes? There may be 20 items on a consent calendar, you can only speak 2 minutes? This is ridiculous. You should change that rule. Thank you.
Next speaker is Mackworthy.
Good afternoon, people. On number 11 is the water meters. People, check it yourself. Go to the engineers. Most of your galvanized pipe is still in place. It's still in place in this city. Most of the galvanized pipe is still in place. You go to the engineers and check it out. Now, your water going to go up. You was told you're going to reserve water. The meters was putting into price water. It's critical. Now, the car sitting in front of my house, the water people come to me 4 or 5 times about the car being in the way. Nobody said a word. And I told them, I said, you're here, go downtown. Don't come to my house, go downtown. That's not my problem. But if water going to go up, and you're going to put the water meter on, somebody lied. Now, those are the things that you can help me put a letter together and get to Donald Trump about the infrastructure money. You may see the infrastructure money going for other than the infrastructure, and I'm quite sure if you get the proper audit on the money, you will find that happening here in this town. Because it's sad to see. Because we could have put those water meters in. Somebody came in here not long ago with a little jar of water, said it was muddy. Anytime that you open the line and redo a line underground, you're going to get sand and mud in the water. That's the reason you run it and drain it off. So tell the people the truth. If you don't know, ask somebody. You don't have to ask me, ask the engineer, ask Pete and them. They'll tell you the same thing instead of wasting time on, oh, the water's toxic. Now, why wasn't on 2nd Avenue more water pipes were set up from the street to the house? They said, Mac, you the only one got it plastic. What was the other people doing? They don't take care of the property because nobody put pressure on them. They don't understand you got to keep up the property in order to have a value of property.
Okay, is there a motion on the consent calendar moved by Councilman Chenier, seconded by Councilmember Harris? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained. The consent calendar passes. We now move to what I assume are two non-controversial items, public hearings, item 13 and 14. Who's presenting on these items, which I assume can be heard together, although they're two separate votes?
Good evening, Mayor Steinberg and members of City Council. Welcome, Mindy. My name is Philip Voulier. I'm a senior engineer with the Engineering Services Division of the Department of Public Works. Before I begin my statement, as the mayor points out, I want to note that we are addressing items 13 and 14 in a single public hearing. These items are both resolutions regarding the same project, and the opening statement for each would be largely identical. The purpose of these council items is to conduct a public hearing on two separate resolutions of necessity authorizing city staff to acquire property rights required for the Rio Linda Boulevard Bridge Replacement and Main Avenue Realignment Project by eminent domain. This council action does not assess just compensation, nor does it affect continued negotiation between city staff and the property owners. The project is located in Council District 2 and will replace the existing Rio Linda Boulevard Bridge over Magpie Creek, which has been identified as both functionally obsolete and structurally deficient. The project will also realign Main Avenue into a new perpendicular signalized intersection with Rio Linda Boulevard. The project will provide improved safety and operations for bicycles, motorists, and pedestrians, as well as enhanced connectivity to the Sacramento Northern Parkway and regional transit bus services. City staff completed a technical memorandum in 2009 that identified the need to replace the existing structure. In 2010, the city made a successful case to Caltrans local assistance to approve federal highway bridge program funding toward the replacement of the structure. The project and the bridge have been designed to accommodate the future improvements identified in the city's 2035 general plan. City Council adopted an initial study mitigated negative declaration for the project on October 29, 2013. During the environmental process, multiple alternatives for the project were considered, including a no-build option and an option that kept the existing alignment of Magpie Creek. The current project design, which includes the realignment of Magpie Creek, was selected as the preferred alternative as it avoided excessively long culvert to convey Magpie Creek, minimized future construction and maintenance costs, and provided the best safety benefit for the traveling public. Final project design plans are almost complete. The project is scheduled to go to construction in April of 2018 at the beginning of the allowed work window within Magpie Creek, pending acquisition of the necessary property rights. Two remaining property interests are required for the city to gain approval of federal construction funding. The property is located at 4775 and 4801 Rio Linda Boulevard. The property interests at 4775 Rio Linda Boulevard include fee title acquisition to accommodate the realignment of Magpie Creek. The property interests at 4801 Rio Linda Boulevard include an easement for public purposes along a portion of the property for the construction of curb, gutter, sidewalk, and curb ramps. A temporary construction easement is being acquired within both subject properties to facilitate paving and grading operations, to conform proposed improvements to existing site conditions. Per Caltrans requirements, the temporary construction easements will be acquired for the entire 2-year construction duration. However, actual work within the business parking lots will be contractually limited to a much shorter time frame to avoid business impacts. City staff have been negotiating with the property owners for approximately 22 months and have not been able to agree on compensation for the property interests. The negotiation process has included initial appraisals and offers, followed by updated and supplemental appraisals with corresponding offers. Notice of this public hearing was sent to the property owners on July 18th, 2017. I would like to acknowledge and welcome the Young family and their representatives who have attended this hearing and would like to address the council on this issue. At this time, staff would like to recommend that this hearing be conducted and the City Council adopt the resolutions of necessity regarding the subject property rights. A 2/3 vote of the City Council is required, and staff would be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Generally, we take public comment first, but since this, you okay with that, Councilmember Warren? Okay. So let's hear from the public. We have one speaker signed up. I don't know if that includes the family or not. Are you representing the family? Please, come on up. Your name, please.
There's Kristen Green.
Very good, Ms. Green.
I have a statement prepared by the Youngs, and although I'm reading it, I hope you will afford me slightly more than 2 minutes, as the comments are probably a little bit longer than that.
Yes.
Based on each of them having an opportunity to be heard.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I am Kristen Green. I'm the attorney for Victor and Colleen Ung. They were served with the notice of hearing regarding the intent to adopt resolution of necessity to acquire property by eminent domain. Pursuant to this notice, they are exercising their right to speak and submit this statement to the City Council for consideration. It is important for the city to understand that Ungs have and will continue to cooperate in good faith with the city in its efforts to undertake this project. The Ungs have no desire to frustrate the process, only to ensure that they are dealt with fairly and in good faith in return. It is their sincere hope the city can come to reasonable terms regarding their property so that both parties can move forward without further delay. Bing's Market is located at 4775 Rio Linda Boulevard in Sacramento. It has been in the family since 1953 and has been serving the community for 64 years. Bing's Market is a cornerstone in Vic's life. From a young age, he and his siblings helped his parents run the store. His father and mother were well-respected members of the community. When the time came, Vic and his wife Colleen stepped in and have undertaken the entire operation of this neighborhood market. This store is not only a source of pride to Vic and Colleen, but a duty to their family, who have made it a viable part of this community for over 6 decades. The importance of knowing this information is for the council to understand their roots to this land and their community. It is not just dirt, and it is not just a business. It is their family history and identity. The Ungs were approached by the city as far back as 2014 to discuss the project to straighten the road and build a new bridge. Representatives from the city visited their property on multiple occasions and discussed the project with him. The Ungs specifically recall a city representative named Jesse, who presented the project information. It was upon his statements and representations that the Ungs initially relied on what the project would be and what benefits would come to both the city and the Ungs as a result of this project. In 2015, Jesse seemingly disappeared from the chain of communications, and in the fall of 2015, a package arrived at their home containing a lengthy agreement, even more lengthy and confusing appraisals, and a cover letter urging them to sign the agreement and return. The Ungs were confused as to the terms and project layout, as it did not appear to reflect the statements made by Jesse and his colleagues during the multiple visits to the property. The nature and scope of the project had changed significantly, and none of the agreed-upon provisions, including bringing water and sewer to the property, were included. The project aimed to interfere with the business in a way not previously discussed or contemplated, and the overall impact and taking represented a far greater area than had been initially relied on. Upon this information, they did what any property owner would do in defending their way of life. They started to ask questions and request clarifications. A new point of contact and supporting cast were introduced to the Youngs, and effectively this project started over with Mr. Hancock and his team at the beginning of 2016. Since that time, there have been several meetings with Mr. Hancock, Mr. Voulet, and members of their team to continue to explain the terms of the project. Unfortunately, the bold move to simply send a book of documents to the Ungs in 2015 that did not reflect the representations of the city caused a fracture in that relationship. The Ungs were forced to slow things down and carefully review the documents and call into question their project details. I think it is fair to say that the Ungs and Mr. Hancock's team have had a positive relationship overall. There are obstacles to overcome, but the Ungs believe it is the genuine intent of the parties to find common ground. Unfortunately, there still seems to be some ambiguity about that cannot be committed to writing. Without such writing, leaves the Ungs as private citizens vulnerable to injury greater than the benefit to the public. The Ungs must question whether the proposed project is planned in a manner that will be the most compatible with the public good and the least amount of injury to their business and livelihood. The following outstanding concerns necessarily need to be better understood in order to properly assess the harm versus the benefit to the public. First, the review of 100% approved project plans. Despite the pressure of signing an agreement, to date, no final 100% approved project plans or phasing schedule has been offered to the UNGs for consideration. Milestone dates for project completion, most notably the start date. The project terms are predicated on a 2-year timeline to complete, but there has been no commitment to a start date, which by the UNGs can hold the city accountable for the work to be completed. City-specific commitment to limit the business impact to Bing's Market by way of signage and lighting to keep customers aware that their store will be open during construction. A phasing schedule and timing of the project. Most importantly, the phasing start and stop dates for the planned parking lot interruption. The terms have been discussed in various meetings, such as the total length of time of the parking lot interruption, the time of the year the parking lot will be under construction, the agreement to limit the access to the parking lot only to complete the necessary parking lot improvements and not for storage of equipment or use by the city during the remaining project time. The city is willing to talk these points, but its inability to commit those same terms to writing leaves the UNGs without assurance that the city has limited the most obvious impact to their business by shutting down their parking lot for the least amount of time. The city has failed to provide a procedure for the inevitable injury to the UNGs by not including any penalties should the city fail to perform as agreed. Small businesses cannot take a wait-and-see approach. Some element of commitment and penalty should the city breach the terms of the agreement, as something that would eliminate the injury to the UNGs and is reasonable under the circumstances. The city has also avoided designating a single point of contact for this project. The city will turn this project over to a contractor and its subcontractors, and the city will disappear from the day-to-day aspect of this project rather quickly.
How much longer is your
About
letter?
30 seconds.
Go ahead.
The UNGs, as private citizens, lack any privity with these contractors or their agents and employees and will essentially be left powerless to resolve issues with the city. The responsibility should not lie with the UNGs as private citizens. The other outstanding compensatory terms have not yet been resolved, but are more contractual in nature, and given the nature and scope of the notice, it is understood that these terms are open for discussion at a later date and time. The UNGs appreciate the opportunity to be heard and for the city to be made aware of the considerable obstacles and complications they have already endured. It has been an exhaustive 3 years that has been carried out entirely on their shoulders, accruing attorney's fees, worrying about the viability of their business, and leaving them feeling powerless and stressed. I would like to believe on behalf of my clients that this is not the process or the outcome the city intended to create, which is why the UNGs remain hopeful and available to discuss their concerns and reach a mutual agreeable outcome. The greatest testament to the city's commitment to its community and its small businesses is to ensure that Bing's Market will be here to serve the community for another 65 years. The UNGs thank you for your consideration and look forward to resolving these outstanding concerns.
Thank you very much. Is that, can we gain a copy of your
I prepared
your
copies
testimony
if
here,
you would like.
please? That we
I don't know who I
can
should-
review all that, and it's obviously part of the record as you stated it.
Only other thing I would like to raise is in the resolution that was posted online. Section 8 of that resolution references that the agreement was provided to them in November of 2015. That was the initial agreement. Since that time, and according to their testimony as well, there have been reappraisals and rediscussions and new project drawings, and the agreement actually wasn't provided to the UNGs until April 28th of this year. So that was 96 days ago. So I think it's important to show that this has not been something that they've been sitting on for as much time as it sort of implied.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate your
I want to get Councilman Warren to weigh in here, and I may have a question or two.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am very aware of this project, and actually several years ago, I had stopped into Bing's and I talked to Vic, and this was one of the things that he stressed to me that he wanted to see happen. He wanted this project to get done. And I'm a little bit shocked because I've also communicated with him several times over the last few months, and he's not mentioned this to me one time as an issue. So, you know, I've looked at the information. I've talked to city staff. I had not heard directly from Vic about this being a point of contention. And this, you know, the city follows a standard practice as it relates to these public works projects. And I will assure you and the owners that the city in no way is intending to harm. In fact, this is intended to be a community benefit. I lived in the area for basically all my life, and this is a troubled intersection. It needs the work that is proposed to be done. And if there are issues relevant to this specific topic, we want to address them for the owner. I did hear a couple of things I'd like to have city staff just explain some of the, or give you answers for a couple of the questions that you asked, particularly as it relates to the impact to the parking lot of Bing's and how much downtime that might present to the owners. And in the event that there are delays, which are legitimate issues, delays as it relates to construction, then what would the city's obligation be to communicate and deal with those to the owners? Because Bing's has been in the community for 60, 70 years, and I remember as a kid we used to ride bikes over and get what at that time they used to have penny candy. Some of you probably don't remember penny candy, but you used to be able to buy pieces of candy for 1 penny. And some of my friends used to go over to Bing's and do that. And so can we get Philip or staff to answer at least those 2 questions? We might have, Kristen, we might have a couple of more if they haven't addressed the questions.
Remember, can I just ask you a question?
Sure.
It's fine if we want to hear this now and have the back and forth, but the questions themselves are complicated. I wonder if it might be better to ask the staff with either your presence or your staff's presence to meet together with the attorney and go through this, because I worry that it could get a little dense in here in terms of the back and forth without resolution. It's up to you.
Well, I think these 2 questions in particular could be very quick. I think as it relates to the downtime for the parking lot and in the event there's a delay in construction. I'm happy to take the rest of it offline.
Okay. Mr. Sanchez?
Mayor and council, just to clarify one point, the action today does not prevent further discussion and negotiation and so forth. This action tonight, if council approves it, will allow the staff to continue forward with the schedule that they have, understanding that there is still a need to try and bring some conclusion to the negotiations, which would include a discussion of all of the points that have been raised.
We understand that. So why don't we, on the record here, for Councilmember Warren and his constituents, 60 years, the Young family, at least try to answer a couple of the basics, but not go into too much depth here in terms of the breadth of the letter, okay?
Sure, and after we answer these 2, I'm prepared to move the item, so.
Okay, so I believe the 2 questions, if I may reiterate, were what is the mechanism for ongoing communication with the Youngs should there be delays to the project or any issues that arise? In response to that question, my basic statement would be, I'm the project manager of the job, and once this goes to construction, I will be fully involved in the project throughout the duration of construction. As a design project manager, we stay on through design all the way through closeout of construction. Regarding the impacts to the parking lot, and that is the primary focus of the detailed staging plans that are being designed in the project plans. We will be building the parking lot in 2 separate stages that will leave one driveway open at all times. The contractor will be contractually obligated to finish one stage in a short duration and then jump to the other side of the parking lot immediately following that and finish that in an equally short duration. I don't know if that's enough specificity.
Well, the amount, because I mean, just so we understand, District 2 is considered still a food desert.
Yes.
And this is a very valuable resource in our community. We want to make sure that residents have access to the store and adequate parking. And so there was some concern that there may be some additional impacts, as it relates to parking for the market. And so what I hear you saying is that there will be adequate access. The contractor is obligated to maintain a safe a parking lot that has both ingress and egress.
Absolutely.
And I guess the last question then that I'd like to just have you speak to Kristen about is in the event that, and I'm in construction and development as well, and sometimes projects take longer than we have them scheduled. In the event that this turns out to be an extended project at unforeseen circumstances, and it impacts the market longer than we have anticipated and that you've expressed to them, then what happens?
And there's a number of answers to that question, and it gets a little complicated because there will be contractual requirements on the contractor, and associated with those contractual requirements will be penalties. There's also the communication aspect with the Youngs and the city's ability as the construction management to give the contractor direction to remedy those issues as they arise in the field. We will be having weekly construction meetings with the contractor and addressing any such issues with the contractor on a weekly basis and coordinating with the Youngs throughout construction.
And so there will be penalties for delays that are as a result of the contractor, and there needs to be some recognition to Bing's Market, for their continued the impacts to their business. And so, I want to make sure, and I want to give Kristen, make sure that you guys include my office as well, so we can make sure that we address all of the concerns as it relates to, what's the proper way to deal with these kinds of situations. And so we want to make sure that this goes as smoothly as possible. The community needs the work that's proposed to be done. I mean, it is something that, in fact, Vic had mentioned to me he wanted to have done, like, as a council person. He said, hey, this has been going on for, it's been talked about for 20 years. And so now that we're getting it done, let's do everything we can to work together on this. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'm prepared to move the item, close public hearing, and move the item.
That's great. And engage, obviously, with the family and their counsel through appropriate means with our attorney to try to go through detail all of the questions that you have raised. Very good. Moved and seconded. These are separate votes on the two items. So let's take, I'm sorry? You move both at the same time. Okay, so that's fine. So we'll take up both at the same time then. No, we can't do that. That's what I thought. Okay. The first one is item 13. Item 13, it's seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstain. Item 14, Councilmember Warren moves again.
I will move. Close public hearing and move.
Second, third. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstain. That measure passes. Okay, thank you so much for coming to the City Council tonight. Continue to work with you. All right, we've taken up item 15. I want to ask how long the VW presentation is going to take.
The presentation will take about 10 minutes, and then public comment.
Okay.
6 speakers.
Got 6 speakers. We'll be done in 20 minutes to 25 minutes with this item, and then we'll take the highlight of the evening here, okay? So, I'm sorry, I forgot. Councilmember Harris wanted to make a comment on one of the items on the consent calendar that's already been voted upon, file item 9, but without objection. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I just wanted to point out that we're about to start a process to build an urban forestry master plan. This is going to reflect really well on the city. I'd like to thank Lucinda for her work on this. And also Juan Montanez in Public Works. I'm very excited to begin this process. We've talked about it for over 3 years. It's finally coming to fruition. And it's going to assure the future health of our urban forests, which is one of our greatest assets here in the city. So full steam ahead on this one. It's going to be a great amenity for the city to have this urban forestry master plan.
Good, thank you. Appreciate you pointing that out. Okay, let us move right through the agenda here. File item 16. Jennifer Gress from the Mayor's office to present. Thank you.
Can we pull the presentation up?
Here we go.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Jennifer Gress. I'm with the Mayor's office. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm here to give you an update on Electrify America's zero-emission vehicle investment plan and the significant investment that is planned for Sacramento. At the conclusion of this presentation, we are recommending the passage of a resolution directing staff to take the steps necessary to streamline, coordinate, and otherwise support the implementation of the investment plan. So let's start with a little background. Why did Electrify America do an investment plan for zero-emission vehicles? What's in that plan, and who is Electrify America anyway? As you may recall, Volkswagen installed software on some of its diesel vehicles that cheated emissions tests and produced much higher levels of emissions than were allowed by the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, and the United States Environmental Protection Agency. Volkswagen was caught and proceeded to negotiate a number of settlement agreements, referred to as consent decrees, with the U.S. Department of Justice, U.S. EPA, and CARB. As a result of the settlement, which is the largest settlement in history involving an automaker, a significant amount of money will be coming to California to address different aspects of the case. Not counting Volkswagen's cost to repair and buy back defective vehicles, a total of about $1.5 billion will come to California over the next 10 years. This slide summarizes the funds that will be directed to California. First, Volkswagen, through its wholly owned subsidiary, Electrify America, will directly invest $800 million to increase the use of ZEVs in California. VW created Electrify America to develop and implement its ZEV investments. So for purposes of the investment plan, VW and Electrify America are the same. Volkswagen will also pay a total of $423 million to fully mitigate excess NOx emissions. These funds will be placed in a mitigation trust, the expenditure of which will be directed by a lead agency to be appointed by the governor. These funds provide another opportunity the city may wish to take advantage of when the time comes. Volkswagen will pay $25 million to CARB for zero-emission vehicles for low-income residents, as well as $179 million in penalties. Finally, Volkswagen will pay $86 million to the California Attorney General's office to settle the state's claims around consumer fraud. The subject of my presentation really concerns Electrify America's ZEV investments. Under the settlement agreement, Volkswagen is required to invest $2 billion over 10 years with the purpose to increase the use of ZEVs. $800 million, or 40%, is designated for California. This 10-year period is broken up into 4 investment cycles, with each cycle covering $200 million in investment over a 30-month period. For each investment cycle, VW is required to develop an investment plan explaining how it will invest the $200 million for that period. This plan is subject to approval by CARB, and CARB just approved the first investment plan this last Thursday, July 27th. So what is in this first investment plan? Overall, the plan is intended to demonstrate the benefits of and increase the use of ZEVs. This slide shows the major categories of investment. $45 million is for community charging in 6 metropolitan areas, including Fresno, Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, and most importantly, Sacramento. $75 million is to build a network of high-speed chargers along highways. We anticipate there will be some chargers along Highway 99, I-5, and I-80 in the Sacramento region. And together, this investment in infrastructure will fund approximately 400 charging stations with a total of 2,000 to 3,000 individual chargers. Next, $44 million is dedicated to establishing the first green city, both to showcase the benefits of ZEVs and increase access to ZEVs. This is the big deal here. We are very excited that Electrify America has chosen Sacramento as the first green city. $20 million is dedicated to public education initiatives using various media to highlight the benefits of ZEVs and overcome barriers to ZEV adoption. And the remaining $16 million will cover Electrify America's operational costs. So let's talk a little bit more about the Green City Initiative. The Green City Initiative is intended to concentrate investment in an area to promote transformational change. The first plan proposes an investment of $11 million for a total of 75 chargers and $33 million to develop a car sharing program. The investment plan also identifies electric delivery fleets and e-taxis as potential areas of investment, but the primary focus initially will be car sharing. The investment in car sharing represents an important opportunity to build on the Our Community Car Share program, which Councilmember Hansen mentioned previously this evening, which is a program implemented by the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District in partnership with the city, SHRA, Zipcar, and others. Under this program, ZEVs and charging stations are placed in publicly assisted housing developments and are available for use by the residents for free. In terms of the timeline for implementation, Electrify America has already issued a request for proposals for car sharing and has begun the process of evaluating sites for charging stations. Throughout 2018, Electrify America will develop the car share program and obtain permits and construct charging stations. Car sharing is expected to launch in 2019. In the meantime, Electrify America will explore other potential initiatives for Sacramento. Let's talk about the roles of Electrify America and the city. As I noted earlier, the money will not be paid to the city for it to spend. Rather, Electrify America will directly invest the money in projects, and it will have contractors and vendors to help implement the investment. The city's role will involve permitting, granting access to sites, and generally establishing and enabling expeditious investment. We will also help support and guide that investment and help to mobilize our partners in the region to make sure that the benefits are realized throughout the area. City staff have been doing a lot to prepare for this investment. Staff have been working with key partners through the Sacramento Area Plug-in Electric Vehicle Collaborative and recently released the EV Readiness and Infrastructure Plan, which identifies shovel-ready charging sites and priority charging destinations throughout the region and will serve as a foundation to guide investments. Staff are coordinating internally to review the current status of the city's regulatory frameworks and are working across departments to ensure that charging facilities are streamlined. We have a good foundation and can do more to adapt to Electrify America's programs as we get a better understanding of what they need. Staff have also initiated the development of guidance for curbside charging, and building from the city's Zipcar pilot program, we know we need to adopt an updated process to accommodate new programs. Finally, we have identified next steps to update the city code for enforcement of on-street EV parking. Looking ahead, there are a number of key tasks on the immediate horizon. Staff will start coordinating the permitting process by holding pre-application meetings and will support and coordinate site access agreements for the priority shovel-ready sites. In early 2018, staff expect to release the guidance for curbside charging and propose an ordinance for enforcing on-street EV parking. We will also be updating the car share program sometime in 2018. Why does this investment matter so much? In addition to being a significant amount of funding for the region, the investment allows us to build on the work we've already been doing and helps us to achieve our broader vision for zero-emission transportation in Sacramento. Some of the key principles characterizing this vision include increasing access to ZEVs by lower-income residents who live in disadvantaged communities and providing alternative mobility options, strengthening first-mile, last-mile connections to transit. Our system has a strong backbone, and we need to make it easier for people throughout the region to connect to that system. Economic development. As I'm sure you've heard the mayor say many times, we envision Sacramento as a hub for the research and development of zero-emission technologies. We want to make the city a living laboratory, a test bed for innovative ideas. As the capital city with UC Davis nearby, CARB, and a culture of innovation, Sacramento is well suited to attract strategic partnerships to advance the technology. Finally, underlying everything we are doing is the idea of providing ladders of opportunity for our most vulnerable and disenfranchised residents. Our vision for zero-emission transportation isn't just about getting around in a cleaner way. It is about connecting people to opportunity. to employment, to school, to doctor's appointments, to the grocery store. And we are seeking to promote new business models that strengthen social and economic mobility by offering internships to youth, job training, and ultimately good-paying, secure jobs in a growing field. This vision and the specific actions the city can take to achieve it will be fleshed out in the EV strategy that staff are working to develop and will present to you later this year. This investment represents an exciting opportunity to showcase what we are doing and where we are going, and to demonstrate leadership in the transformation of our transportation system. The key to success will be partnership and collaboration, and we enjoy strong regional partnerships on EVs, including with the county, the Air Quality Management District, SMUD, SACOG, Regional Transit, Valley Vision, SAC EV, UC Davis, and the list goes on and on. Some of these partners are here tonight and will share with you kind of the opportunity that this investment represents from their perspective. In closing, the proposed resolution before you directs staff to work with Electrify in America and our regional partners to take steps to streamline and support the successful implementation of the investment plan, and to look for opportunities to leverage Electrify America's investment to achieve our broader vision for zero-emission transportation, including providing ladders of opportunity and establishing Sacramento as a hub for innovation. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, for doing that excellent job, not only in the presentation, but throughout this process. What we want to do is take the public testimony first, and I'll begin, if I may, with Supervisor Cerna, and welcome you. It is an opportunity for me to thank Supervisor Cerna for being a real leader on this, and wearing two hats. One is as a civic leader, obviously, a county supervisor in Sacramento who partnered with me and us to forward our application, but then as an appointed board member of the Air Resources Board to help deal with the inevitable internal politics that go on, especially when it comes to big money where there's great competition throughout the state. And so you deserve a tremendous amount of credit and our thanks, and we're happy to have you as our first witness here tonight.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and council members. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. First of all, you have to forgive my informal appearance, but after I speak here, I'm going to go meet about 200 K through 8 students that are eager to get their backpacks tonight at VOA. So
okay.
I'm dressed appropriately for that, especially when it's 100 degrees out. I just wanted to make sure that I took time from my day to come here. It's important for this entire council to hear from the team. I want to start by thanking our mayor for his leadership on this. We would not be celebrating this. This resolution would not be before you tonight if it wasn't for his leadership early on in this process. This was by no means a slam dunk. He and I can attest to that, and we kept our finger on the pulse of this at every step of the way to make sure that Sacramento landed firmly as Electrify America's first Green Cities designated community. As you'll hear from others after me, there was a terrific showing last Thursday in front of the Air Resources Board across the street. We heard from representatives from SMUD, from Regional Transit, and from our own county. We had our chairman, Don Natoli, my colleague on the board there, to lend supportive testimony, as well as Judy Robinson, who you're going to hear from tonight, the county's Director of Sustainability. As Jen Gress mentioned, this designation is really an opportunity for this community, the city we all love, to really experience a transformative moment in the progression of this technology. But it's not just transformative in terms of the number of charging stations and the other kind of physical metrics we might use at the end of the investment plan to mark progress. It's going to be transformative in another very important way, and that is how much this community embraces environmental justice. As was mentioned, the investment plan has been very specific about its intent, I should say Electrify America's intent to invest in underserved communities here in Sacramento. In fact, the intent is so specific, we're looking at no less than 35% of the investment itself landing in those underserved, disadvantaged, economically disadvantaged communities in the city of Sacramento. So again, Mr. Mayor, I want to publicly extend my gratitude to you for leading a terrific effort. It would not have happened if not for your leadership on this matter, and for the support of your colleagues on the City Council. I know everyone feels very similarly up there in terms of how important this is for your community, for our community. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Phil. Thank you so much. Again.
Our next speaker is Henry Lee. Following Mr. Lee is Larry Green, and then Steve Johns.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. On behalf of SACRT Board, I'm very excited to be here to congratulate the city for being selected as the first designated green city in the state of California. I'd like to thank Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Supervisor, and the city leadership team and the city council, especially the city mayor's office staff, Jennifer Grace, Mike McCaver, and Kenny Rivers for including SACRT in the entire process regarding this initiative from the beginning. More than 6 months ago, I was pleased to be asked by Mayor to speak to the representatives of Electrify America during the initial conversation, and then numerous follow-up meetings. This designation is an exceptional achievement that paves the way for future innovation with ZEVIs. The whole process has been an extraordinary collaboration and reflects the best teamwork among many regional partners, and is another great example of how Mayor has been a catalyst to take this region to the next level in a most collaborative way. First and the last mile collection for transit has been a challenge for transit agencies across the nation. The ZEVI will greatly help address this challenge. SACRT strongly supports this endeavor and is ready to begin installing electric charging stations at our K, Park, and Ride lots by working with the ZEVI team. Our vision, SACRT's vision, is to be able to respond to the overwhelming calls from our communities that to have more buses going to more places and running more often. When ZEVIs connect to the SACRT system, more people will use the public transit, therefore it will reduce carbon emission and relieve the congestions for this region. The designation is just at the beginning, and SACRT is excited to be a partner at a time when the future holds the unlimited possibilities to improve the quality of life for the residents of our many communities. In the past, SACRT has been putting many very attractive advertisements to cover the outside of trains for new source of revenues. To show our support, I'd like to offer a free advertisement in our trains for the Green City Initiative.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, and congratulations again.
Appreciate it. We look forward to the partnership because you know it's going to be transit combined with these innovative transportation solutions that are going to create the transportation mobility for all of our people. So thank you.
Our next speaker is Larry Green. Following Mr. Green is Steve Johns, and then Mac Worthy.
This is a wonderful opportunity to be here and talk about this project. The Air District has for many years brought incentive programs to Sacramento. Moyer, lots of money through SACOG, coming through state, federal monies. But this program here lays over the top of so many things we've done and presents a unique opportunity. It wasn't a slam dunk. When I was at the LA ARB hearing, it was clear that we had a lot of opposition from around the state. But, Mr. Mayor, you stepped up, Supervisor Cernas stepped up, and our elected officials got on board along with the team that Jen put together and really made a great showing at this last meeting. But it wasn't just that meeting, it was all the meetings and calls and stuff between that time that caused this to happen. In the end, it was a unanimous vote. We deserve this because of the work we've done over the years in the Sacramento region. And this is going to overlay not only this project, but additional monies that are coming through the Volkswagen settlement and a lot more cap and trade money. We're going to fall all those programs together under this collaboration that we have so that everything works in conjunction and leverages all the programs together. So thank you so much for your work. I know that without this teamwork, we would not have won this and gotten this project here, and it's a testament to our team that we were able to do that.
You may have to now come back to work, so thank you so much.
Others have tried that, I think.
Next speaker is Steve Johns. Following Mr. Johns is Mac Worthy, and then Guy Hall.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Steve Johns with SMUD. As an organization that supported electric transportation for 27 years and counting, SMUD is delighted that the Air Resources Board unanimously approved the Electrify America Investment Plan. This will move the needle on electric vehicle adoption in the Sacramento region by augmenting and complementing existing efforts that lack the necessary investment to really reach their full potential. As a community-owned electric utility, SMUD is committed to making electricity more affordable to all of our customers, including those in low-income and disadvantaged communities. The investment will extend the benefits of electric transportation to a much wider population. Together, we have a unique opportunity to demonstrate how petroleum-dependent cities can evolve into the low-carbon cities of the future. Cleaner air, lower fuel prices, more jobs. Congratulations to everybody who had a part in this public-private partnership.
Thank you so much. And thank you to SMUD, which has been a huge, huge part of this, and stand up as always.
It's been a great process.
My next speaker is Mac Worthy. Following Mr. Worthy is Guy Hall.
The fun I'm having. You know, it's ridiculous when you go through and you observe. Now, we have no problem with an electric car. But where's the jobs? You ain't sure where no jobs going to be. Where's the jobs at a service station? This is going to take the place of your service station. Where's your jobs? We got these people here got high-tech knowledge. They're going to come and get a job. But what are you saying when somebody called me and said, Mac, what is they talk about carpool from the low income? Because you're not going to have no jobs in this thing. The same thing of redevelopers. You sold redevelopers, but black folks got no jobs in that neighborhood, but you bought that neighborhood and rich folks made profits off and still making profits. And I told you earlier, you can bring in more rent per square foot than you can 1% of face value. And you would not deal with the people. You are so ignorant. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. To see that this will come and nobody stand here and say a word about jobs. When you agendize an item, why a person sign up for it, they don't even get to speak to it. And we want that to be the records because I'm going to ask some questions on that on freedom of information. Where we come here and we hear people talk, you don't invite nobody to come here and speak to these items. Nobody. You don't see nobody come and speak to these items. This is where we need people educated at people to know where the dollar going. We haven't had a dollar audit on nothing here over 3 years. SMUD, the arena, the water, we ain't had nothing. Only industry this city have is raise the cost of service. That's all. That's all you have here. I said block grants and bonds, that's all your mayor have talked about. See me here. People, wake up what you got. This city is dying from ignorance.
My next speaker is Guy Hall. Following Mr. Hall is Austin Brown, and then Judy Robinson.
I thought that was the last speaker. 3 more. Okay.
Good evening, council members and Mayor Steinberg. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on this topic just very shortly. I wanted to make sure or to introduce SAC EV. I know many of you know about Sacramento electric vehicles, but for those that don't, I've put a couple pages together that I'm not going to go through as a presentation, but you'll have available.
We're a 600-member-plus organization of nonprofit, probably a nonprofit organization of volunteers that want to go, desire to go out and educate the community about electric vehicles and alternative transportation. So we got pretty busy this, and we were very excited to be able to work with your staff and Jennifer in terms of building this proposal and help pushing a bit over the goal line. So we think they've done an outstanding job, not just in executing, doing the work, but also reaching out and building the partnerships to make this happen. So tremendous support in what they've done. It's an exciting, it's a unique, transforming proposal. And we really strongly do support moving ahead with their proposal. I would ask, however, that the city not use this as an excuse to back off from any other climate warming activities or initiatives. It's, in fact, any activities that we do, the city does now with respect to increasing the adoption of electric vehicles and other related activities will just be magnified by the VW work and activities. So I encourage you to keep moving aggressively forward on those fronts and not rely on the gains brought forward by VW.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next speaker is Austin Brown. Following Mr. Brown is Judy Robinson, and then our last speaker will be Brian Dove.
Thank you, Mayor Steinberg and the council members for having me here today. My name is Austin Brown. I'm with the UC Davis Policy Institute for Energy, the Environment, and the Economy. And I'm here to speak today to reinforce our support for the Electrify America Green City Plan and for the city's great efforts to take that up and execute it in the most beneficial possible way. Excuse me. Electric transport, we know, is absolutely essential for mitigating climate change, and it also brings benefits for local air quality, can provide more affordable transport if we get this right. But electric vehicles, as I think we all know, still face considerable challenges to deployment. And now with this effort, Sacramento is poised to lead in getting to a transformative electric transportation system. This is, as far as I know, the largest single investment of its kind, with $44 million directly into advanced city electric infrastructure, and a particular opportunity that has been acknowledged several times, and I want to reinforce my enthusiasm for, to bring electric transport into disadvantaged communities. If EVs are going to work as a solution for climate change and for our energy challenges, they absolutely have to be for everyone. We can't just let this be a solution for some in our community and not for everyone. UC Davis is really ready and enthusiastic to be a partner here. This is, in addition to an opportunity for Sacramento, an extraordinary research and learning opportunity to discover the best ways to get to an electric transportation future. UC Davis offers unmatched transportation expertise, and we're really enthusiastic about working with Sacramento as this becomes a reality. Others going forward are going to look to Sacramento and what we learn and accomplish here in trying to build their own systems. And so the better we do here, the more we lead, the more we can make an impact, not just in Sacramento, but on the future of transportation more generally. So thank you very much, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Judy Robinson, and then our last speaker is Brian Dove.
Welcome, Ms. Robinson.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Judy Robinson. I'm the Sustainability Manager for Sacramento County. I'm also the Chair of the Sacramento Area PEV Collaborative and a resident of the City of Sacramento. First, congratulations on the Sacramento Green City selection. This is an incredible opportunity for Sacramento and the region, and we're ready. To support Green City rollout, Sacramento County has already adopted policies that allow by-right EV chargers in all land use zones, as well as permit streamlining for EV charging in order to expedite charging infrastructure installations across the county. The City of Sacramento is one of the partners of the Sacramento Area PEV Collaborative, and this collaborative stands ready and is at your disposal. We have been working together for years to increase the deployment of electric vehicles and related infrastructure. We have established partnerships that will be leveraged with Sacramento Green City, and more are developing as we speak, and you've heard about UC Davis. I want to note that one of the most moving things for me at the ARB workshop last week were two residents from the Affordable Housing Project at Alder Glen that have been able to benefit in the last month and a half with the Community Car Share program. Their testimony was compelling on how their lives have been enhanced and changed by being able to have access to a community car share. So we can't get going fast enough on this. On behalf of the PEV Collaborative, we'd like to support staff's recommendation for council to adopt the resolution to work with Electrify America for expedited implementation of ZEV investment in Sacramento. Thank you again and congratulations.
Thank you again, Judy. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Our last speaker is Brian Dove.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm here representing Mutual Housing California, your local developer and operator of affordable housing and provider of resident services and community building programs. So we're delighted that Sacramento has been selected for this program. Mutual Housing has been working with the Sacramento Air Quality District on a EV car share program in Councilmember Guerra's district at our affordable property, Mutual Housing at Lemon Hill. And without the cap and trade funds, it provided the financial support for our EV program and the support and innovative staff at the California Air Resource Board and the Air Quality District. Our low-income residents at Mutual Housing at Lemon Hill would most likely never have access to electric vehicles for many years to come. When we first started planning for this program, we were alarmed in the absence of publicly accessible EV chargers in Lemon Hill and in low resource areas of South Sacramento in general. Sacramento's designation as a green city and Electrify America investment in the low resource areas of Sacramento can transform the lives by giving access to clean and affordable, reliable transportation to low-income households who otherwise would be dependent on dirty cars, high-maintenance older cars, and would pay a large portion of their limited incomes on gas. Green City can be a game changer for low-income households if we work together to ensure equal access where the market will not do so. We look forward to working with the city staff and the Air District to support this effort.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming. The housing angle is really important. Good. Okay, that's the public testimony. Now let's hear from members of the council. Councilmember Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know Supervisor Cerna had to leave, but has been leading along with you on this. And there was a great press conference yesterday where I think you, the Supervisor, Congresswoman Matsui, Electrify America, SMUD, all talked about why this is so critical. But something that Henry Lee said was really important to it. It was a team effort that helped win this grant, the $44 million. And I think we would be remiss not to say very clearly that many other cities in California wanted to be designated as the first green city and have that $44 million. I know you, Mr. Mayor, Jennifer Gress, Jennifer Venema, all our Jennifers, and all those who want to be Jennifers worked very hard to help make this happen, but it was a true partnership. I just have to say, as somebody who owned one of the diesels that went back, which had been a Green Car of the Year in 2010, we talked yesterday about turning lemons into lemonade through this process, and I think Electrify America is trying to perform some alchemy as well at the same time. And as we try to move forward here, the city has laid the groundwork through our EV charging policy, which we just talked about a couple weeks ago, through our own greening efforts. And I got a letter recently, some of you may have too, that we've won, as a city of Sacramento, a silver level beacon award from the Institute for Local Government for our 6% community reduction in greenhouse gas, platinum level award for 24% agency greenhouse gas reductions, 43% in energy savings, a platinum level award, a gold level award for 15% in natural gas savings, and a platinum level award in sustainability best practices, all from the Institute for Local Government, because the city of Sacramento continues to lead, and we want to be the best in mobility solutions. We signed the Under 2 MOU last year, joined Governor Brown, countries and states from around the world in putting this as our foot forward in what we believe. And so just with that, $44 million is awesome. But I also want to ask the city manager to potentially report back to us. I asked SMUD a question, and it provoked a lot of thought with me, but what is inhibiting the city from adopting a 100% electric vehicle fleet? If we're going to be the green city and we're going to deploy electric vehicle technology in underserved communities, why aren't we also setting a model as a city as we replace vehicles or look at our own policies, and we've gotten awards for our fleet practices, but why aren't we literally driving the same message that we're talking about tonight on behalf of the city and on behalf of the public? So, Mr. City Manager, working with our staff, I'd love to hear back as part of this Green City implementation, us setting a goal for getting fossil fuel out of our city fleet within a period of time, and what can we do to continue to lead this effort for other local governments. I would challenge SMUD to do the same and all of our other partners to do the same with their fleet. So we are using the same infrastructure and sending the same message that we're trying to capture here.
Good, great suggestion.
And I would move the item.
Item's been moved. Let's hear from, it's a good suggestion that we'll please, Mr. City Manager, will report back on that and incorporate it into the overall discussion. Councilmember Guetta.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'm glad to see I saw Mutual Housing California here. I wanted to also, I know this is not a grant, and so what the city's doing here is providing strong guidance and direction with our partners here, both on the business side and other sector side. And I wanted to further encourage that other than just our public housing authorities, that we look at other nonprofit housing entities such as Mutual Housing and Lemon Hill that can be a hub for car sharing. There's Mercy Housing on the boulevards down there as well, and a lot of these communities also have limited access to other transportation. Another unique area that I would also, just to provoke some thought, as Councilman Hanson said, was in the community of, say, for example, like Campus Commons, where a lot of folks have downsized their property and are trying to look for more mobility. Again, another place where we have a gap in public transportation, how we can use car sharing in those communities. And I do want to focus on both our disadvantaged communities as much, but also figuring out where are there areas where we can encourage more of the use of the vehicle. Going back again to the point that we made 2 weeks ago, a big reason why we're doing this, and we can't forget about that, is the issue of air quality and the impacts that many of our communities who are by freeways are facing every day. And that's a huge message that we have to convey to the public and convey to the community folks about how not only for themselves, but for their neighbors and their kids, this is an imperative issue to move forward. That as they transition out of their old cars and look at a new option, an option exists with low maintenance, very little fuel, and something that can be beneficial for the community. The last question that not question, but I guess a suggestion that I would say is also to look at, I'm glad UC Davis is here, and they're a big employer and part of our city, but I didn't hear the connection with Sac State at all in the conversation, and I want to make sure that the entity that's producing so many engineers right out of this area is involved in that aspect. And we have so many drivers and people coming to Sac State, and hopefully we can get them to look at public transportation, but somebody made a mistake of not putting the light rail on the campus on the Board of Trustees years ago, so let's figure out how we can look at that entity and then figure out how do we use those engineers at Sac State or those students to be participating. So making sure that we're taking advantage of all our partners there. And with that, Mr. Mayor, this is a great movement forward for the Green Cities Initiative. It's impacting a lot of communities who need this help and better air quality. And with that, I'll second the item.
Very good. Now it's been moved in second. Councilmember Harris.
Thank you, Mayor. This is indeed a very exciting opportunity for the city. I don't know if any of you noticed, but we just went through a couple of Spare the Air days. And when we go through those periods, we all suffer. We all suffer potential health impacts, and it is costly to us as a community and a city. This initiative, this opportunity is going to help us clear up a lot of those Spare the Air days. I drive an electric vehicle. I've said this a few times at the dais. It saves me a lot of money. An electric vehicle would work for fully 50% of the residents of Sacramento, meet their needs, save them money, save them anguish in terms of maintaining an internal combustion vehicle. I can tell you from personal experience over 4 years, there's nothing but good about owning a ZEV. And so my colleague Councilmember Hanson has challenged the city now to be a leader in using electric vehicles in our fleet, but I would like to challenge my colleagues and say, you know, you guys, why aren't you driving electric? It will really work for you. If you try it, you won't go back. I'll tell you, I don't see myself ever buying an internal combustion vehicle again, certainly if I can help it. This is a great moment for the city. The other thing I'd like to say is the equity piece is very valuable in this. To offer this opportunity to low-income and disadvantaged communities is just brilliant. And you know, the amount of money that's being allocated for that purpose is a fantastic thing because it puts within reach technology and a vehicle that can actually change the lives of people who are struggling economically. So it's a big part of the program, and I'm very excited about this. I can't wait till we get started.
Thank you very much to all my colleagues. Final comment, if I may, before we vote. A lot of people to thank. I mean, from our team, Jen Gress again, and Fran Halbach and Hector Barone, Lucinda Wilcox, Jennifer Venema, and many others have been working and continuing to work hard to ensure the delivery of electric vehicle investments. And, you know, it may sound like we're taking a little bit of a victory lap here, but it happens to be true. It's no accident we received this designation and the $44 million that goes with it, because we are on a streak of victories here, and that's no accident either. The world, the business world, the renewable energy world, the alternative fuels world, is beginning to see Sacramento as a place to innovate, a place to create, and a place to do business. And we all share this vision of expanding our reputation as a capital city and a government town to much more, to being the center of innovation, of entrepreneurship, and of high-wage private sector jobs around technology and renewable energy. And this is a sign and a signal, a big sign and signal, that throughout California and the country, we're being seen for many good reasons as being the go-to place. And so I want to emphasize one point that hasn't been emphasized, and that is all of the issues around climate would be enough to celebrate. And certainly the equity piece, tying this into disadvantaged communities, is essential. But there's also a real job creation opportunity here if we do this right. We're having a lot of conversations with the autonomous vehicle industry as it is growing. We have a growing relationship that's actually starting a new chapter with the University of California, Davis, and at Sac State, of course, which exists and grows. But we have the opportunity to build a center of industry around alternative fuels, electric vehicles. And we ought to take advantage of that, even though the consent decree that underlies this $44 million says that you can't spend it on research and development. I'll tell you, the phone's been ringing off the hook since this announcement was made for a lot of companies who are saying, how do we get into this and join Electrify America, the city and county of Sacramento, to create an industry here. We got to build something here and create jobs. And so I'm very excited about it and very appreciative of all the work that went into it. And let's continue to move forward and have more victories like this. Please, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained. The measure passes. Thank you, 9-0. That's worth a round of applause. We now move to the last but not least, as they say, because I think this is the item I know I've been most looking forward to. And before we begin, who's ever making the presentation, I want to hand it over to the originator and the leader of this effort, Councilmember Jay Chenier.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm going to be brief. Christina asked me to kind of open this up, so I just want to make a couple points and then we'll get right to the presentations. This summer we had 80 young people plus our returning youth at Summer at City Hall. I was privileged with Mr. Jennings to go to the graduation on Monday night? Monday night? Seems like that. It's a long time ago, which was wonderful. It was held at the Cerna Center, and probably 250 to 300 people. There were not enough seats. Every seat was taken, and there were 50 to 75 people standing in the back. It was great. The kids did a great job. I just want to say to you all, and I know there's plenty of more young people out who will be coming in and doing the rotation on these reports. It's been wonderful to have you around City Hall all summer. I think it should do a few things. One, give you kind of a bird's eye view into local government, what's happening. Tonight has also been a little bit of local democracy in action. So I know you've taken that in as well. But then also reminds us and all of the employees of the city why we're here. And this is really an appropriate item to follow the electrification item. These are both things about our future. One is kind of the physical infrastructure of where we're going, and you all, I think, are the human infrastructure of where we're going and will be taking care of us. I want to thank our city staff, Christina and Chris and Maria and others who made this program a success this year. It was a lot of work, as always, but you did a great job in doing it. I also want to thank the 3 teachers who are here. Mr. Washington, year 2. You guys can clap if you want for your teachers. Mr. Washington, Ms. Cook, and Ms. Bump, if you could stand up for a second just so we can see you guys. I want to say what they're outside. So I was talking to Mr. Washington on Monday night, and he was saying this is the best part of teaching, that he really is spending time with all of these young people who want to be here, who are dedicated. They gave awards to all the kids who did not miss a day, and it was overwhelming number of young people who were there every day for the 6 weeks. Just as a reminder, they're getting 5 units of high school credit and a $300 stipend for doing this. So it's been great. That's what I'm going to say just for now. I want to be able to say maybe a couple of words later on, but I want to turn it over to however you're doing this. We have done this every year. Come on up. We have done every year where they did a mock city council and presented their projects by district. We just thought it was appropriate because these are high quality projects that the council itself here, and I know that the mayor has already promised some money for one of the projects he saw. That's what I was told.
Well, I could just say, I guarantee you that after we hear tonight's presentations, we're going to be agendizing at least some of these items for further discussion.
So go for it. Thanks very much.
Will set the strategic direction for the city.
Our issue for our citizen is working on overheated vehicles and leaving children and animals in them.
Our office has a lot of educational programs for youth in Sacramento.
You will make this the great city that it is, the great city that it has been since 1849. You will be responsible for getting it there. And that's my vision. You accept the challenge. Everybody who accepts the challenge, raise your hand. There you go.
And what do you think about the park cleanup?
I think I agree with that. It was like a good experience, but y'all have me out there picking up trash. Someone picked up the dead squirrel.
To cut leaves off the trees and branches, and it was hard because I'm short.
It was completely different. It looked way better. It was very clean.
There was a change that people said there was.
good.
How's the program been so far?
Pretty fun actually. Better than I expected. One, because I didn't expect the students to be outgoing. Like.
What do you think about like her talk about city workers?
We're contacting all the different organizations that handle this trash pickup, cleanup. We're also contacting regional transit in order to get trash cans placed at every bus stop on certain routes. So.
Yes, it was for my presentation. What was it your project about? Getting better street lights because there's an issue that's like on the corner, 200 feet away from the corner is a nothing good that's in my city. Yeah, I was waiting for the pocket is good actually, like around there. Sure, that's actually bad. Yeah.
The part I like most about Summer City Hall is making and meeting new people that I probably would have never met before.
Good job, guys.
Hi, my name is Nasek, and we are on week 5 of the program. And just recently, we just went to Crocker as a group, and it was a lot of fun, and I just love hanging out with my Link Crew group. Our name is Groovy, because we're always feeling groovy. But I think that something that my Link Crew team members really enjoyed, I think that it's important for them to go to the Crocker, because are really exposed to different people's perspectives and their experiences and things like that. And it's important that the students are exposed to different services in the city, which is the Crocker College is available for them to experience. So far, the program is going really well. Are really excited about their council meeting. We just did like a mock council presentation, and we were giving them a lot of advice. So I think they're going to do a really good job, and fingers crossed. It goes really well, and the council likes it.
Basically, my experience at Summer City Hall was pretty good. I learned a lot of things like teamwork, hard work ethic, basically how to operate cameras, how to basically run city meetings. I got to look over how the mayor and our council members work, and it was pretty good.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, City Manager Chan, and Madam Clerk. We are so excited to be reaching a very important milestone in the history of Summer at City Hall program tonight. For the first time ever, the Summer at City Hall students will be presenting their civic projects for your consideration and feedback. We, as the Summer at City Hall program family, are very proud of our students and excited about this opportunity. But before we get to our students' presentations, I want to say thank you again to Councilmember Chenier for your tremendous leadership and for being so open to many of the new changes and ideas that I and the staff presented to you. Your support has meant so much to the entire Summer at City Hall program. We also greatly thank the mayor and all the council offices, city, state, and federal agencies, all the nonprofits that placed our Summer at City Hall students in their offices. Your support and partnership is what keeps Summer at City Hall such a successful model. This year, we incorporated new structural components to enhance the overall program delivery. One of the biggest structural changes that we implemented was the introduction of our program liaisons. If all the liaisons could please stand. Neighborhood Services initiated a critical partnership with the Sac State School of Social Work to identify social work students that could play a vital role in communicating with our Summer at City Hall students, the internship supervisors, and the entire Summer at City Hall staff. They operated as coaches and mentors to each of the young people in both of our summer internship programs, playing a pivotal role in helping the Neighborhood Services team and all of the agencies and departments stay connected. Our program liaisons have been incredibly instrumental in dealing with many of the life circumstances that came up in our young people's lives this summer and help us resolve many concerns and issues. I personally say thank you to Eliza, Jennifer, Eureka, Maria, Morrow, and Davis, who couldn't be here, for their incredible dedication, exceptional work, and commitment to our youth interns and overall program support. Thank you. Summer at City Hall is growing into a major workforce development training program, a government sector boot camp for both our high school students and now the college students that have been incorporated. The experience that our young people are receiving from the Summer at City Hall experience is life-changing. Summer at City Hall has only become what it is today because of the critical partnerships that have developed. We very much thank Way Up Sacramento, the Sacramento Unified School District, Twin Rivers Unified School District, and Natomas Unified School District for being excellent collaborators on program and policy changes that have improved the overall experience for every single person connected to this program. Our program partners have truly helped us shape this summer experience in a meaningful way. Our Summer City Hall instructors are incredible teachers that gave up their summer to provide amazing instruction, guidance, and mentorship to each and every young person in the Summer City Hall program. Their exceptional commitment to our young people and their support of our Summer at City Hall students, understanding the need for their voice in the political process, is highly honorable. The time, effort, and insight they provided our young people throughout the entire 6 weeks went beyond our expectations. We thank each of our instructors for what they did to make this program year such a success. And now I will have Chris Wimberly, the program manager for Summer at City Hall, come and speak.
Good evening, Mayor, Council Member, City Clerk, and City Manager. I'm Chris Wimberly. I'm with the Department of Parks and Recreation, Neighborhood Services Division. And as Christina mentioned, I was a project manager for this year's Summer at City Hall program. We are extremely excited to be joining you tonight at the City Council meeting for the first time. Tonight, our students will be presenting to you their Project Citizen projects. The issues that our youth deal with in their communities impact all ages, and it is critical to listen to what they are saying about these issues. Project Citizen has given our students a platform in which to identify an issue, research the problem, and develop a solution or bring awareness to that issue. These issues are real, and our Summer at City Hall students believe that they can make positive change in addressing these issues. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to present to you. Before our first presentation, I want to acknowledge and thank our Summer at City Hall teachers. Ms. Cook, Ms. Bump, and Mr. Washington. They've worked tremendously hard this year to make this program what it is. Without their guidance and support to the Summer at City Hall students, this year's program wouldn't have been the success it is. Thank you. Without further delay, please welcome Project Pop-Up Bins. Oh, you guys are practice, never mind. You guys are professionals.
Good evening, Mayor, City Manager, City Clerk, City Council members. As we all know, food waste is an extremely serious issue throughout schools. Even I have thrown away perfectly good food in my times of ignorance. Throughout my years growing up, I have never really put much thought into the food that I throw away. But as the years go by, my eyes have opened up ever so slowly. The issue finally came to light as I looked at my surroundings and see people in need of food or support in general. Their cries for help have pushed my team and I to become the orchestrators of change. With that in mind, I, Elliot Robles, senior at Christian Brothers High School, would like to introduce our program idea, Pop-Up Bins.
I'm Victoria Chen, junior from John F. Kennedy High School. During breakfast and lunch hours at our school, we seen perfectly edible and open food thrown away every day. At that exact moment, there are people in this city struggling due to lack of food. According to Emily Hagen, the City of Sacramento Homeless Service Coordinator, our homeless population rose by 30% compared to last year. As young citizens in this community, it would make us happy to see them enjoy a healthy meal.
I'm Jaden Coleman, junior at Valley High School. Our group surveyed over 100 local students on their thoughts of food waste in school. Students who get lunch most commonly throw away untouched milk and fruit as part of which they are forced to take as part of their child nutrition programs. 74% of them said the food they throw away in school can be donated. Over 90% of these students said they see or commit food waste at their school, and they would support a program that would collect and distribute excess food to those in need. This program aims to fulfill that need to benefit our community by removing excess food and giving it to those in hunger. There are already programs in place that accomplish our goal of collecting surplus food to give it to those in need. I feel it is safe to assume that all food is not wasted, and at least someone has taken action to collect and distribute extra food. However, suspicions arise when food waste in schools is mentioned, as there are looming legalities over food recovery and child nutrition programs. Existing programs across the country, such as the Food Bus and Food Rescue, challenge this thinking by completing our mission of collecting excess food in schools throughout the nation to give it to people in need. For the legal distribution of food, we are protected from liability through the Good Samaritan Act. The food we collect and distribute is of no liability to our group or any partner. The Appropriations Act allows schools to have a food recovery or food donation program on their campus. Overall, our mission of helping those in need can be accomplished without stepping over any legal boundaries.
Hello, my name is Michelle Ariza, a junior at Grant High School. Pop-up bins will allow students to place their unopened and unwanted food items into bins and coolers. Items such as milk, juice, packaged and pre-sliced veggies, and fruit will be placed in coolers. Items such as chips and whole fruit will be placed in bins. The food will then be picked up from Grant High School every other day, such as Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The food will then be delivered to the Sacramento Food Bank, located on Bell Avenue, about 2 miles from Grant High School. The SAC Food Bank will then donate the food to those in need. Our plan is to pilot this program in the whole Twin Rivers School District. This is the most ideal plan because we would have access to a delivery truck, we will seek additional support for our program, and we will have a meeting with the school board later on. Our plan B is to pilot this program only at Grant High School. However, this plan does not involve a delivery truck. Delivery would have to be made by volunteers at the school. Our second alternative plan is to support the already existing programs. As stated before, these programs are the Food Bus program, the Food Rescue program, and the Food Waste Challenge program.
Hi, my name is Ella Petape, and I'm a senior at Indercom High School. We've been speaking with Lindsay Wilson, the Food Access Programs Coordinator at the Sacramento Food Bank. The Sacramento Food Bank is willing to take the excess food from the Twin Rivers School District. However, a truck will only be provided if there is enough food to fill the whole truck. One truck is 32 feet long and can hold over 25,000 pounds of food. The food bank will then distribute the food to the local nonprofits. We had a conference call with Jill Van Dyke, the Twin Rivers Nutritional Services Director. She said the school district would be willing to donate the excess food and help write the MOU, which is an agreement between the food bank and the school district. We will also be presenting this program to the Twin Rivers School Board in the future since it needs to be board approved. On the other hand, she had some concerns. Due to their limited funding, the school district could not provide the trucks, bins, or coolers. Also, the union workers may not be willing to help out since it's not in their job description, but Jill Van Dyke said she'd negotiate with them. We contacted the 4 principals at Grant High School, but the only one who gave us a response was Vice Principal Wesley Marshall. He is more than happy to support us, and we will also be meeting with him in the future to discuss how he can be of further assistance to us in this process. Since both the Twin Rivers School District and the Sacramento Food Bank are located in District 2, we thought it would be a good idea to meet with Councilmember Warren. Luckily, he is very supportive of our idea. He also said that him and his staff would assist us with connecting to other nonprofit organizations in District 2, such as Roberts Family Development Center and the Grant High School administrators.
Based on the student survey, we calculated around 1,032 excess food items could be donated from Grant High School every other days. We're awaiting confirmation from the Twin River Nutrition Service currently. We determined the